Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
and you're on the air with Power Squared. This week we're getting ready to go to Comic-Con next week, so we thought we'd talk a little bit about the prep.
Yes.
You think it's a convention of, fun and all that, but there's a lot of planning that goes in it so you can have fun.
Yes.
We've been going to Comic-Con for 15 years, let's say.
Yeah.
I think we missed one year. And so our experience with Comic-Con has developed over time. I mean, the first couple times we went was just one day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we started, hey, they have panels, and we started going to more, and we started the comic book and had professional status. And so things have kind of changed for us over time.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that are still planning is important. There are exclusives. There's people to meet.
Yeah.
Besides panels, so that all goes into the planning stages.
Yes.
And you and your brother sort of help lead that.
Yeah.
For us as a family.
Yeah. What really helps is SDCC blog. Is pretty much anything Comic-Con related they have a article for.
Okay.
Like whenever company announces their exclusives or signings, it's there. Or offsites, it's there. They
Okay.
have an offsite calendar that keeps track of specific times.
And then this is the unofficial blog. You're
Yeah,
talking
the
about?
unofficial blog.
Right.
The official one is the Toucan blog. That's not so helpful.
Yeah.
And of course, there's still looking at the Comic-Con website for the schedule, or panels, or
and they drop
exhibitors.
They drop panels 2 weeks before.
Yeah, exactly 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of last week, we were going through all that, or this past week, we were going through all that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure which one we want to see. And then the problem, of course, is there's so much going on, and everything conflicts with each other,
Yeah.
and there's no way you can do it all.
Yeah.
And even stuff you say, yes, I want to do that, you may not be able to.
Yeah. No matter how much planning you do, you still have to be flexible.
And then they've started having more and more of these lotteries and portals and things like that in order to get an exclusive or meet somebody or whatever.
Yeah, more and more of Comic-Con has been locked behind lottery.
Yeah, it's sort of a little more stressful and a little less fun.
Yeah. What doesn't help is so part of the planning is I have a running spreadsheet.
Right.
That's everything that's happening, including the exact location and when the thing is. So what doesn't help is with the exclusives portal, you have a certain window to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it on the last day. That's the meta. Do it the last day.
Okay.
It literally doesn't matter when, and the portal changes throughout. And it's truly random, even if you do it at the very end. So you might as well do it at the very end.
Or you pick your what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I know we've had some discussions, and
To tie back to what I was saying, what doesn't help is I used that spreadsheet, a running spreadsheet, to determine what's the best times for the lottery,
right,
to pick, and then after that, there's more revealed. After this whole thing, I signed up for a 100% soft on preview night, and I got it. And at the then limited run revealed at the exact same time. Oh, we're gonna have a signing with the Shantae people.
Oh.
Which.
Yeah. There's a
Shantae fan that's annoying.
There's no way you can do it all.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of I love the immersion into that world that you get from Comic-Con, and we've been to other, I'll say, big conventions like WonderCon and LA Comic-Con, and you don't get the same sort of immersion that you do there. And there's no empty booths in the back. It's just all filled pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially this year when the major players are back.
Yeah.
Who haven't been there. And Yeah.
The only empty booths might be a couple artist alley tables.
Right, but I mean, we've discussed here when WonderCon there was like
Yeah,
several
there are a few
empty
empty
booths. It's
booths.
like, hey, I signed up to do this. I'm here, but you can't just set up Power Squared booth.
Wouldn't it be great though?
It's sort of a guerrilla operation. So yeah, we've signed up, and the weird part is you sign up for, let's say, UCC,
Yeah.
and you get 2 time slots, but there's really nothing. And you don't need to go twice,
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of, as soon as you can do it, get it over with and move on, have more free time.
Like last year, 2 of us won UCC. I was a later time, so because we got through the first time, I just didn't bother with the second time.
Yeah, and there's nothing more fun than standing in line at Comic-Con because
Well, it is Line Con.
Yes. And they've added the comfort of no carpets, so that really makes everything better. And boy, we're just coming out swinging at it, but we're really looking forward to it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like kind of our family vacation in some ways.
Yeah.
Because it isn't cheap to go. So, where do you want to start? You want to start talking about exclusives, or do you want to talk about panels, or you just want to talk about eating?
Well, see. I guess we could talk about exclusives.
Okay.
We have a spreadsheet for that,
Right.
and so because of that, I don't remember everything off the top of my head.
Right, and that's fine. We don't need to. I don't think everybody needs to know exactly what we're looking for every place we're going.
No, but a couple things I remember was Udon is going to have a. They've been doing Street Fighter swimsuit specials, but this time they're going to have a Shantae swimsuit special.
Oh, that's why I'm staying in line. I signed up for that, right? we assign people tasks on preview night.
Yeah.
We're staying in line here.
Eric Powell is also going to have a couple things. I'm hoping to get with my 100% soft slot. I'm planning to try to get a Deadpool dumpster fire.
Right.
I have a couple dumpster fire vinyls.
Right.
Let's see.
And your mom's into Con Rangers.
Yeah.
And I think she'll be shadowing Katie Cook. Or
Trevor wanted to get a couple things for Usagi Yojimbo.
Right.
He really got into that.
Yep.
He's read the whole thing up to this point.
Oh, sure. I'm sure he has.
At least as far as the trades are concerned.
Stan Sakai says thank you.
And of course, trying to get a Yu-Gi-Oh mat.
Right.
that Konami has every year. But speaking of Konami, I know like for the longest time they've been the Yu-Gi-Oh booth pretty much, but I remember when the booth was more than just Yu-Gi-Oh.
Uh-huh.
It was like I got a Metal Gear shirt from them
Uh-huh.
one time, and they actually had like other games represented. They're kind of missing an opportunity. If it's just Yu-Gi-Oh this year again, they're missing a huge opportunity to capitalize on their Silent Hill revival, because Silent Hill 2 remake is coming out in October. So this would have been the perfect time to. This would be the perfect time to try to hype it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the feeling they won't, just because they've just been Yu-Gi-Oh booth. But I don't know everything they're going to do at the booth,
Right.
so I can't say for sure.
Well, they're kind of playing that. That's probably their biggest market.
Yeah, I would. But again, you'd think you.
No, I agree. They should branch out, and we're going to point their finger at them and say they should. But
Okay, and Metal Gear Solid Delta,
mm-hmm.
which is the remake of MGS3 Snake Eater, that would be the perfect time to try to hype it up as well.
All right.
Or at least have a picture of it, just to say we're more than just a card game and some gyms in Japan.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hyping that goes on, and the big things are always in Hall H, and we have never actually been to Hall H in the 15 years we've been there.
No, I'd like to try an easy one sometime.
Yeah, occasionally there'll be like looking for people for Hall H. They'll have an announcement over the loudspeaker. Like, I thought people stood in line days for that.
Yeah. Maybe next time they say that, we should do
I think we should. Even if we don't care what it is, we should still go.
Hey, I was in the room finally.
Yeah. Because sometimes I know from experience that sometimes you'll sit in on a panel to get to the next one, and you discover something, like we discovered Watchmen.
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for
Taikubo.
Yeah. There's a little bit of, discovery that goes on all the time too, which is kind of fun.
Another example that popped up in my head is we went to a Disney panel because we were curious about Wander Over Yonder, but we ended up getting more interested in Gravity Falls.
Right. Just Wander Over Yonder.
Yeah. And then we fell down the Gravity Falls rabbit hole.
Yes. Thank you. So we have the exclusives, and we're going to try to do as many of them on preview night as possible, but not all of them are limited editions or whatever.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can wait, like the Yu-Gi-Oh mat, they probably sell that the whole time.
Yeah.
Even if you want to get it to preview night, which is cool. And then there's panels.
Yeah.
Which, again, there's probably 20 going on at a time all the time.
Yeah.
And it goes from 9:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, it seems like.
Yeah.
So there's really no way you can do all the panels. There's no way that you can, you can't worry about it, I guess. There's just no way to do them all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun. I've tried more recently in the last few years to try to do kind of professional panels, but there are a lot of fun ones still to do.
Like one we like to do is cartoon voices.
Right. That's a lot of fun.
You get to see voice actors do their thing.
Right.
And it's also interesting to hear them talk about their
experiences and
career paths.
And other voices you'll know they did. Like, somebody was talking, they did the voice at LAX or something.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know. So is there a particular panel that you're looking forward to this year?
Well, if we were able to get into Hall H, I would say Percy Jackson, but it's probably not going to.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to on Friday, there's a middle grade panel.
Right.
Because I've been reading more middle grade fiction lately, and middle grade is something I'm interested in writing.
Right.
On Saturday, there's a 20 years of Scott Pilgrim panel.
Okay.
With Brian Lee O'Malley. We had a whole podcast about Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
And I like the comic. Even if it's not my favorite comic, I like the comic. The movie is my favorite movie.
Right.
And it had a really good video game.
Okay. So, did somebody meet him?
Yeah, Trevor won a slot to get Brian Lee O'Malley to sign something.
Okay, and that would, I assume, be
The
movie.
Yeah.
We've earned him before at he did a signing at a booth for his books, I recall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ticketed, it wasn't a big deal. I was just able to kind of stand in line and do it, I thought.
Yeah, although you still had to fight for it a little bit.
Okay.
But he's more he's ticketed this time. I think because there's more hype around Scott Pilgrim and his other works, partly because of the Scott Pilgrim anime,
Right.
which we haven't seen because
It's on Netflix.
we're like among the 5 people who don't have a Netflix account.
Yes, don't blame me.
Yeah. And the movie also gained more of a cult following.
Well, it's
over
also
time.
an anniversary too.
Yeah, it's 20 years, so there will be more people hyped about Scott Pilgrim this time.
Okay. I'm looking forward to doing. There's a couple of these creator networking events. I'd like to at least do one of them. And there's two different groups that run these, but I'd like to actually meet other creators, and it's a way of maybe finding people that possibly be on the podcast, or people that you never know who somebody might be able to help you, or I know so and so, whatever.
Yeah.
And I will go to the how to get news coverage panel. I think I go every year, every event that it's at. It has been a way for us. We have gotten some news coverage out of it, and I still want to find out what happened with Utica Fest, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what else I've picked to go to. I know there was some like Hollywood and pitching and things like that.
Yeah, and selling an animated series.
Yeah, because it was funny because when we had Lucas on the show a couple weeks ago, he mentioned, "Hey, it should be a really good animated show." Yeah, we think so too, but yeah, it's all a big process, and I'm very much aware that everything's tighter now in Hollywood. Post strike, there's less going on.
Yeah,
always. But you never know. Everybody shies away, and maybe you have a great idea.
Speaking of not being able to do everything, on Sunday there's the second Cartoon Voices panel, but at the exact same time there's two X-Men panels.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about with X-Men. It's not about my favorite one. It's about 97. The first one's X-Men, and I think it's TAS mostly, right. And then the second one has the voice cast of 97. I would have cared more about the TAS one because it has a writer. One of the panelists is Brooks Wachtel, who is a Emmy Award-winning writer. I took a class of his at UCLA.
Wasn't he supposed to be at one like a year?
He was he was supposed to be at one a couple of years ago, but he was worried about
COVID.
Yeah, he was worried about COVID. And then last year he was there, but I was stupid and didn't get into the panel before that while it was like wide open.
Oh, okay.
But that's the one he's going to be on is at the same time as the second Cartoon Voices panel. So again, you can't
do it all.
No.
So the panels would be fun or educational. And again, and then okay, so there's walking the floor.
Yeah. Which
is fun and exhausting at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of booths where you just sort of walk by.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say there's like, it seems like 20 or 30 just Funko Pop booths, secondhand sellers.
And there are fewer comic book booths, feels like, every year. And the video games have mostly gotten pushed out into like one of the hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's still some video game booths there.
Yeah.
I remember years ago I was able to like do more demos and stuff.
Right.
Then it got harder.
Yeah, it's a big event, and sometimes you feel like it's kind of like pushing the walls of the convention center out.
Yeah.
And then they have panels in other locations like the Omni Hotel, the Marriott Hotel,
the library.
Yeah, you have to really want to do a panel at the library.
Yeah.
It is way out there. I mean, it's not that far, but it's far.
And then we actually did an X-Men panel at the library once because the Lee Walds were there. Yes,
and that's what we walked out there to do that. So yeah. Yeah, there's a panel about how to do it if you want to start a podcast.
Fun stuff like
and a lot of panels about Kickstarters or raising crowdfunding or how to do a comic book or how to do this, how to do that. Sometimes I'll just say this as a warning: if you're, a panel sometimes turns into a biography of the person that's on the panel.
Yeah.
Not so much you don't find out how to do something; you find out how they did it, and that's, sometimes it's. Occasionally, you hear the stories of, well, he sort of lucked into meeting so and so, and he gave him a job forever, and now he's, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
sometimes those things they're not reality that you can live with.
I prefer kind of educational panel where you actually get actionable steps.
Right, yeah. And sometimes the actionable steps are, can be impossible, they're just not going to happen for you. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the panels, looking forward to walking the floor, seeing stuff. And then there's people that we'll probably want to say hi to while we're there.
Yeah.
It's a little circle of people that we've met through cons.
Yes.
Or keep up with through cons. So I don't think we need to go into great detail who those people are, but
not really.
You know who you are, and you'll be seeing us when we're there.
Yes.
So is there one thing that you're really looking forward to?
Well, I mentioned the Scott Pilgrim panel.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to figure out exactly what I'm looking forward to the most because I signed up for a couple of things for random chance and didn't get them.
Right, yeah, that's the you get to be disappointed early on.
Yeah, like I didn't get the Deadpool panel or the Percy Jackson site.
Right. I'm looking forward to, oddly enough, the preview night dinner we always have at the Old Spaghetti Factory, and there's not one in LA at all, so it's kind of fun. I remember we went back after COVID's still going on, but when we went back and they had it live again, it was like we'd never eaten food before.
Yeah.
So, and I like San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could, if we could all move down there and actually not go broke, this would be a lot of. It's a nice town, nice temperature, nice weather for the most. A little humid sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's easy to get around. I mean, we're going during rush hour to the con.
Yeah.
Really, it's not that unless everybody's like left town. I mean,
Yeah.
But it's like a very manageable town.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just saying I like San Diego, so I look forward to going down there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the last few times we've discovered something new at the convention and ended up grabbing it. Like that's how we got into Stray Dogs.
Right.
And then now Feral.
Right. Yeah, those are again, there's a lot of discovery that goes on, and I want to go beyond just here's the exclusives, because you might find somebody's got a booth and selling something that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and that usually happens.
Yeah, and I also, because we're tabling at LA Comic Con, way more about that as we get closer. I want to sort of talk to people who are doing small press at this one to kind of get a feel for, like how many books should we really have and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, it's also be part of a scouting mission.
Yeah. So I got to spend some time doing that as well. So I'll be taking copious notes.
Yes.
So how many? You always meet people that have, I have 4,000 followers on Instagram and 4,000 followers on Twitter, and every book sells out. And then there's people like us that are just trying to get out there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to meeting those kind of people, not I got 4,000 followers.
Right.
Because I met a guy one time I was scouting small press, and that was his, nothing's big. Okay, so looking forward to Comic-Con. When we get back, we'll do a show about what we discovered at Comic-Con.
Yes.
And
we'll be, because the timing of Deadpool and Wolverine is during Comic-Con. We're going to end up seeing it.
They actually have a panel in Hall H that we could not get into.
Yeah.
That was part of the hype for it.
Yeah. So we're going to end up watching it when we come back from Comic-Con. Right. So that means we'll probably have to dodge spoilers for like 4 days.
Yeah, I'd imagine we could avoid it kind of easy when we're down there, because you don't have to, you'll be other things to be doing besides.
Yeah. Although I did get spoiled on a major thing. I once got spoiled on a major thing in One Piece through a cosplay. So since Char and I read One Piece. We've been reading it through the volumes, but that puts us a year behind everyone else. So I got spoiled on a major thing from Wano through a cosplay of a new form Luffy got during that arc.
Well, hopefully there's somebody reenacting the finale of Deadpool and Wolverine. Unless it's those two guys. I guess they'll be there, but probably not walking the floor.
Yeah.
Too much. So next week we're going to be gone, but the artists will take over again.
Yes.
Cross your fingers. And we'll be back the next week to talk about our experience, and then we're going to have another book club and another team meeting in August.
Yeah.
So much to happen. Much going on.
And hopefully within a week I can wrestle my 10-year-old laptop enough to put a video together.
Right.
That's a con. It might take 2 weeks because of fighting a laptop.
But that was a big, that did well for the channel.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to do that. And if there's anything I can do, let me know.
Right.
All right.
All right, so if you're watching this on YouTube later and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment below if you have any opinions about Comic-Con.
Or SDCC.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
You've been on the air with Power Squared.